Battle Through the Heavens, Chapter 210. The Grand Proposal and Massive Bid of Pill King Ji He. The frantic signal for martial law dies in the throat as the desert air turns cold and heavy. Panic at the gates yields to a paralyzing silence as a shadow sweeps over the stone, drawing every gaze toward the sky, where beauty masks a lethal edge. Guy chokes back his breath, his pulse thrumming against the weight of a single, radiant gaze.
Observing Queen Medusa appear in the sky, Ji and Master Yan, who had been speaking as loud as thunder, involuntarily stood close to the silent black-robed person. In this group, only he could contend with Queen Medusa, whose fearsome reputation intimidated the Jiama Empire.
You are looking for me?
High in the sky, Queen Medusa slightly bowed her head to look at Yu Hei. Her red lips were slightly parted, as if in confusion. In an instant, her pure appearance became radiant. Just one smile caused several Douling experts on Yu Hei's side to lose their focus for a moment. Under the smiling gaze of Queen Medusa, Yu Hei took a deep breath, suppressed his inner emotions, raised his head, and smiled.
Your Majesty, Queen Medusa, it is truly a fortune to meet you again. I am Ji He of the Jiama Empire.
Speak. What business do you have with me? Although your forceful entry into my tribe was an extremely rude act, our snake people race is not an unreasonable barbarian tribe.
Looking at Gao He, who seemed to quietly sigh in relief, a flash of cunning crossed the autumn water-like pupils of Queen Medusa.
Furthermore, the alchemist Pill King Ji, he is famous in the Jiama Empire. When the time comes, you can just casually throw out a bit to compensate for that small amount of damage, right? Pill King Ji?
The smile on his face was slightly embarrassed. However, Ji was someone of broad knowledge and experience. He immediately regained his composure and waved his hand grandly.
Forcefully entering your noble tribe was indeed our rudeness. These damages I, Gahi, will naturally compensate for.
Grandmaster Ji, he is truly generous.
A jade hand lightly covered her red lips as she chuckled softly. Queen Medusa blinked her long eyelashes and smiled.
Grandmaster Ji he. Then what about the matter of you inviting so many friends and spending so much energy to enter my snake people tribe? What is it for in the end?
Hearing the conversation reach the main topic, a serious expression appeared on Ji He's face as he briefly fell silent to choose his words. Do not be fooled by Queen Medusa's smiling appearance as if she were harmless. He knew very well that years ago, when the Jiama Empire and the Snake People race were at war, this beautiful woman had personally smashed 3 Douling experts into pieces on the spot. Her cruel methods were enough to make those who lived by the blade tremble. Moreover, Ji He knew that Queen Medusa's strength was among the top of the Douhuang class. If the Jiama Empire did not have 3 Douhuang experts, he feared no one could defeat her alone. Even though a mysterious black-robed person had been specifically invited to his side, Ji He was clear that inviting him was not to fight Queen Medusa, but rather, if Queen Medusa had killing intent toward them, only he could stop her and prevent the others from being slaughtered. Slowly exhaling, Ji He raised his head, looked at Queen Medusa in the sky, and spoke in a deep voice.
This matter of mine is mainly for the heavenly flame that your Majesty obtained.
You. His deep voice slowly echoed toward the horizon, causing the noisy atmosphere around them to suddenly become very quiet.
Whew.
This person really came for the Green Lotus core flame as well.
In a spot within the rocks, Xiaoyan let out a soft breath and chuckled bitterly in a low voice.
Heavenly flame? Since when did Her Majesty obtain such a heavenly flame?
Hearing Ji Yuhei's words, the expressions of Mo Ba Si and Yu Mei on the city wall were full of surprise. Clearly, they did not know about Queen Medusa obtaining the Green Lotus core flame outside Mo City half a year ago.
What does Her Majesty plan to do with the heavenly flame?
Staring blankly, Yui Mei's face suddenly changed after a moment, as if she thought of something. She quickly turned her head to look at Mo Ba Si and whispered in shock.
Could it be?
It must be so. Otherwise, Her Majesty would not spend so much effort to find a heavenly flame. Unless she intends to do that thing, there would likely be no other purpose.
Taking a light breath, Mo Ba Si spoke in a low voice.
Then, heavens, but the failure rate for that is extremely high. If Her Majesty meets with an accident, then our snake people race.
Yu Mei's hands twisted together in front of her as she smiled bitterly.
Ah, Her Majesty has been at the Do Huang level for many years. Perhaps she has grown a bit impatient. Although she usually doesn't pay much attention to these matters, I also know she wants to become even stronger. Once she reaches the Do Zong level, the strength of the snake people race will expand rapidly. From then on, we will no longer be trapped in this vast desert. Although we have adapted after so many years, our snake people are not suited for this place. Our bloodline comes from the earth after all.
Mo Ba Si sighed softly. Yue Mei also let out a soft sigh, raised her head, and looked toward the face of Queen Medusa, which was gradually turning from smiling to cold.
Heavenly flame? How did you learn the news that I found a heavenly flame?
Queen Medusa's fingers lightly brushed several soft strands of hair on her forehead, and a few points of cold intent flashed within her purple eyes.
Half a year ago, I coincidentally searched for a type of medicinal herb in the desert and happened to sense the aura of a heavenly flame. I went straight there, but I did not find Your Majesty's figure. However, I picked up several pieces of blood-stained 7-colored snake scales on the way. 7-colored snake scales only appear on the outside of the body when Your Majesty fights with full strength. Moreover, I detected the scent of a heavenly flame on those scales. Thus, when Your Majesty obtained the heavenly flame, you must have been injured, right?
Ji Yuhei spoke softly. Queen Medusa lightly licked her rosy lips. Her strange pupils stared fixedly at Ji Yuhei, and a faint cold intent radiated from them. Pretending not to notice Queen Medusa's unfriendly manner, he carefully retreated behind the black-robed person and smiled bitterly.
Your Majesty, I have no other intentions. Your Majesty knows how important a heavenly flame is to an alchemist. To find this heavenly flame, I have run to almost every strange location in the Jama Empire. The snake people bloodline is of the cold attribute. A heavenly flame does not actually have a very large effect on you. Therefore, I hope Your Majesty can allow me to use items to exchange for the heavenly flame in your hand.
Exchange?
Hearing this, a faint trace of mockery appeared in the corners of Queen Medusa's eyes. She laughed softly.
Since I know your identity as an alchemist, you should know the power of the heavenly flame better than I do. What do you think you can offer that is worthy of its value?
His brow furrowed slightly. He pondered for a long time. A rare look of pain appeared on his face as he raised his head and spoke solemnly.
I am willing to use 2 Tier 6 Tao Spirit Pills and 1 Tier 7 Transformation Pill to exchange for the heavenly flame. I wonder what your majesty thinks.
As Ji Yu Hai's words fell, the eyes of Master Yan and the others nearby widened. Their faces were full of shock as they looked at Ji Yu Hai. Even the black-robed person beside him turned his head slightly. A trace of surprise radiated from the black-robed person's eyes. Clearly, even he did not think Ji Yu Hai would produce such a massive bid for the heavenly flame. A Tier 6 Dou Spirit Pill was a type of medicinal pill that could make Dou Wang experts turn red with envy. The effect of this medicinal pill simply drove people mad because it could allow a Dou Wang expert to immediately increase by 1 star after consuming it. In other words, if a 2-star Dou Wang expert consumed this Dou Spirit Pill, he would become a 3-star Dou Wang in just a few short days. One must know that at the Dou Wang level, the gap between each star was extremely large. Many Dou Wang experts worked hard at cultivation for many years, but still stopped at a certain star level. Such cases were not uncommon. Thus, one could see how precious this Dou Spirit Pill was. Of course, although the extreme effect of the Dou Spirit Pill made people envious, it also had a very large restriction. A person could only consume 1. From the second one onward, it would basically have no effect. In other words, a Dou Wang could only use 1 Dou Spirit Pill in their entire life. But even so, this Dou Spirit Pill was still a type of spirit medicine that made countless mid-tier experts turn red with envy. Countless people would willingly pay an enormous price to find 1 Dou Spirit Pill. However, compared to a Tier 7 transformation pill, the Tier 6 Dou Spirit Pill made people feel a bit stunned. This type of medicinal pill could drive countless Dou Huang-level magical beasts crazy. With just 1 such pill, they could escape their beastly form and possess the long lifespan of a magical beast, along with the cultivation talent of a human. Producing something with the simultaneous effects of these two would perhaps require a Dou Zong, or even a legendary Dou Sheng expert. The 2 types of medicinal pills Yu Hui brought out were almost at a level that could make everyone go crazy. It was no wonder that even Master Yen and the others nearby felt it was somewhat incomprehensible.
Isn't this person's bid a bit too large?
Inside the rocks, Xiao Yan stared at Jiao Hai in the sky, with his mouth agape. It took a long time for him to gradually recover his spirit. He thought to himself,
As expected of the #1 alchemist of the Jama Empire, a rare treasure like the transformation pill can be said to be as rare as phoenix feathers or unicorn horns. It seems he is determined to have that heavenly flame.
The bid is indeed large. However, with his current alchemical skills, although there is an extremely low probability of successfully refining a Dou Spirit Pill, it is absolutely impossible for him to refine a transformation pill.
Yao Lao first sighed with emotion and then spoke with a bit of disdain. Back then, he had personally refined this type of transformation pill and naturally knew how difficult and heaven-defying the creation of this medicinal pill was. If he hadn't had the help of a transformation pill back then, it would likely have been difficult to successfully refine it. Xiao Yan nodded slightly. He raised his head and looked at Mo Ba Si and Yue Mei on the city wall. Clearly, these two were also terrified by the massive bid Yu Hu had produced. Their expressions were extremely shocked, looking somewhat comical. His gaze gradually moved toward Queen Medusa in the high sky. Xiao Yan's fist slightly tightened as he spoke softly.
I wonder if she will agree.
The person with the same thought as Xiao Yan was Ji Yu He. His extremely nervous gaze was also fixed on the silent Queen Medusa, waiting for her to speak. Under the focus of countless gazes, Queen Medusa in the high sky remained silent for a long time. She sighed softly and bit her red, seductive lips. Her beautiful eyes looked at Ji Yu He with a bit of regret, and she spoke somewhat helplessly.
I must admit your conditions are indeed tempting. I am sorry. I cannot trade with you.